I pray to God you lose your war and they chop your head off.
We are not ramping down. We're just getting started. Nothing stops this train. Nothing.
Most people don't chase power. They chase the feeling of not being worthless, of proving they still matter, even if it means tearing their life apart to do it. I'm Dr. Patrick Kingsep, clinical psychologist, and today we're looking at Walter White from Breaking Bad and Marty Byrde from Ozark to answer whose ego hides the biggest lie.
I hope you had a pleasant journey. Today is our beginning.
So both say their criminal paths are for family, but Walt's ruthless hunger for immortality and Marty's cold, calculating pride conceal far darker truths. We're going to explore how their egos mess with their thinking and actions, how Walt's unresolved resentments fuel his reckless violence, and how Marty's emotional numbness lets damage just go unnoticed. The challenge is to recognize when your own ego is running the show and ask, who's really being deceived? Walter White starts as an overlooked teacher in Breaking Bad, but cancer ignites his ego. He refuses financial help from a friend because it would make him look weak, jumping into the meth business to show he's strong enough to defy his own destiny. It's not just arrogance, it's what I'd call a narcissistic injury, where past letdowns, like a missed career chance, explode into this need to dominate everything. Walt tells himself the drug business is for his family's future, but it's about proving he can beat death itself, masking his fear of fading away. Picture his mind. It's like the way that Freud laid out. His basic urges, the id, crave that power high. His moral side, the superego, it gets quiet, and his ego can't keep up, letting him frame brutal acts as smart moves. Taking out a rival, it's the thrill of invincibility, far more than any genuine protection for those he claimed to defend. His thinking locks onto this idea of being a genius that no one can touch, leading him to chase bigger dangers, ignoring the fallout because each win, it reinforces he's above it all. The sinister part is how his ego makes destruction seem okay.
If you don't know who I am, then maybe your best course would be to tread lightly.
Showing his family a dad who's fighting for them, but underneath, it's a side that thrives on breaking people to feel whole.
Son, the things that they're saying about me, I did wrong, terrible mistakes.
Now, I had a patient who chased promotions relentlessly after failure, thinking it was for his kids' security. But therapy showed it was covering a fear of being ordinary, much like Walter's ego uses control to bury that emptiness. So if you've ever poured everything into a pursuit you claimed was for someone else, only to mask the terror of being invisible, that's Walt's ego in action, weaponizing a noble cause to silence his own void. Marty Byrde moves his family to the Ozarks, acting like their only savior. His ego, based on thinking his logic, beats any other plan.
But then I take me and my family and we go down to the Ozarks, just like I planned. And I just start washing money. 5 years, $500 million.
He convinces himself dangers are just equations he can balance, lying that it's all for family when it's the satisfaction of outsmarting everyone. Through a cognitive perspective, Marty's rigid inner rules operate like a mental filter that suppresses emotional signals, turning his decision-making into a cold algorithm disconnected from empathy.
Fire her.
Why?
It's not the first time she stole from you.
Marty's ego also employs defensive dissociation, numbing feelings to maintain control, convincing him that his stoicism is strength even as it obscures the real damage.
You know what you like to do? You like to control your family.
I'm asking you for fucking help on a problem that you created and you're not helping. That's the whole story.
To you.
The evil creeps through this detachment. He presents as a reliable guide, even as his control silently weakens those he's meant to protect.
You're lying to yourself.
How so?
And every time you say it out loud, I decide to believe you because it sounds so much better than what's actually going on here.
The Walt and Marty's egos, they warp their realities in opposite ways, but both ramp up from threats turning self-guard into something harmful. Walt's ego grabs onto Nietzsche's idea of forging your own excellence, but it's twisted by grudges, distorting his past to avoid facing his own insignificance. He bypasses guilt through moral disengagement, reframing violent acts as calculated necessities to just uphold his self-image.
Was this you? What happened?
I won.
Marty's ego reduces risks to tasks, a quiet boost to his self-confidence that leaves him isolated from others.
We're gonna get through this.
How is that a cliche or a platitude?
It's like compartmentalizing fears to retain authority. The recent research labels this as adaptive narcissism, where stress inflates the ego into a rigid shield.
And if I want to put all $7,945,400 into a hot tub, get buck naked, and play Scrooge McDuck, that is 100% my business.
Cutting off any trace of vulnerability.
Now, where's my money?
Walt's bold triumphs crave admiration and resonate well beyond the moment. Marty's quiet one persists, and it avoids feeling. Neuroscience shows that Walt's fear center, the amygdala, it ignites aggressive thoughts and erratic acts.
You mark my words, Skylar. Toe the line, or you will wind up just like Hank.
While Marty's prefrontal cortex, it suppresses emotion, driving his distant, calculating decisions.
Wendy, I don't know what you want from me. This is our life now. I can stay here, I can talk about our feelings, or I can go take care of shit and make sure that we don't die, okay?
Both characters hit ego burnout. Ongoing self-justification drains their mental resources and magnifies self-deception.
Skylar, I have lived under the threat of death for a year now. And because of that, I've made choices. Listen to me. I alone should suffer the consequences of those choices, no one else.
Just as stress research reveals, Walt's exhaustion appears in impulsive actions, his mind chasing brief highs as his behavior spirals into chaos. Marty's exhaustion builds slowly, his thoughts fragmenting and his actions quietly eroding his relationships. Walt's ego relies on external approval, warping his thoughts into hostility and actions into destruction. Marty's draws from internal assurance, freezing his thoughts and fueling quietly destructive behaviors. In essence, Walt's drive to control becomes impossible to resist for those around him, while Marty's quiet manipulation slowly weakens the very relationships he claims to protect. If you've altered a truth to stay in control, which ego aligns more? The one seeking applause or the one concealing behind intellect? We return to these ego stories because they reflect Jung's shadow, the parts of ourself we'd rather keep hidden. Walt's bold drive lets us release built-up frustration, like fighting life's unfairness without consequences.
I'm doing quite well.
Jesus, Walt, the news here. Gus Fring is dead. He was blown up along with some person from some Mexican cartel, and the DEA has no idea what to make of it.
Marty's appeal lies in the fantasy of handling chaos with just this calm precision.
You come anywhere near me, my family, or Ruth again, the next time you see your son, he's gonna be hanging from a bridge in Juarez. You got that?
We're drawn to these buried traits because facing them eases inner tension, making us question how good people go wrong. Their grand self-perceptions make our own indiscretions feel insignificant and small. Watching their egos in action gives our own ego a temporary lift, like a surge from their successes without the fallout. Research suggests we're drawn to commanding figures in crises because their displays of control mirror the sense of control we wish we had in our own lives.
I want to talk to Tuco, and I'm not leaving until I do.
Marty's composure pulls us toward calculated steps, maybe leading to retreat when overwhelmed. Their darker sides force us to face our own potential for harm. It's your hidden side hinting at what you'd never admit wanting. So which feels stronger? The release of Walt's intensity or the strategy of Marty's calm? This mirrors everyday tensions. Bold egos like Walt's spark open fights. Quiet ones like Marty's undermine trust slowly at work or at home, both disguising their grip on power as genuine concern. Walt, I think, resembles an influencer obsessed with likes, driven by external validation and blind to the fallout. And Marty, well, he feels more like a behind-the-scenes operator, smoothing over issues with cold logic while keeping everyone at arm's length. Walt's ego demands worship. Marty's ignores harm, injuring through neglect. So which of these lies truest for you?